Why'd you leave Twitter? Or X?
What I noticed, so I noticed a couple things. One is the levels at which discourse happens. Okay. The true power is not the person who has no power is the person who makes the reaction video. Okay. Even if they have millions of views, the person who makes the reaction video has no power because you're reacting to what other people are saying. That means you're being driven by other forces that are beyond your control. And then you have an audience, so you're a performer. So you're performing to people's expectations. You develop a core audience over time. You feel the need to perform and to meet those expectations of the core audience. It's not very good for long-term strategic steering and change. Real power is being able to disseminate and deploy something that's going to change what people are talking about and even more importantly, how they're talking about it. That is where intervention really is. And so if you have a personal or a professional account, but it's you, right? And you are in the trenches and you're in the melee. Like social media is like a melee. Like there's all these different levels of people. There's bots out there. There's people who have fake accounts. There's real followers. There's fans. There's haters. There's influencers. Like all this mix. It's literally like a mosh pit.
Reverse mukhabarat. Yeah.
Is reverse. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, and this is how some people try to get into your head as well.
Yeah.
And you've seen a lot of mashayikh and du'at that their sense of clarity gets muddled by you don't even know what to pay attention to what's relevant anymore, right? Either you go on the side of you soak in the praise and you get big-headed, or you absorb all the criticism and you almost become like paranoid or bitter or just sort of thrown off of what is just. So there's a need to influence discourse, but keeping your hands clean and keeping your eyes clear. To be able to release things and you like drop it and then let the people talk about it. Let the people talk about it. But you don't need to be in the mosh pit or in the melee. Then you're moving on to the next thing and you're dropping the next thing. And then you're moving on to the next thing and you're dropping the next thing. And you're actually trying to steer how people are reacting to things. Like I see that as much more important and higher level than getting down the trenches. Not that there isn't a role for that. There is. But when I did the ROI of like, what am I putting my time into? And how many tweets do I have to scroll through to find something that's beneficial or something to respond to? Or how much time does it take to put together like a tweet thread?
Yeah.
Like I had some nice tweet threads. I had one really nice one on perennialism and, going through the whole Zaytuna crowd and the influence of perennialism on them and some others. But the ROI wasn't there. Right? For all the things that it did, it was not the most efficient use of my time. And I feel the need to do something bigger and more systematic to affect the discourse in the long term. So within the next year, you're going to see a couple channels and initiatives that are going to pop up, inshallah ta'ala, that I am either solely behind or partially behind with other people that are going to attempt to move the discourse in a positive direction. And I think that that's not only is it a healthier way to interact with it, like on a personal level and a psychological level, but it's also a more strategic way to intervene in those spaces. Allah knows best.
So what you're saying is it was not the DAWAH Mafia that came to you?
No, nobody gave me a call in the night.
No one called you in the middle of the night.
No, and my proof for that is that I kept on saying the same things just in person. I didn't change my tune. I didn't start talking about heart softeners and this other stuff
put that to bed then.
Yeah, I kept on saying the same stuff. It's just like I was doing it in person, and I was also trying to write more and trying to read more and trying to do different types of things. Like social media is a front, but it's not the only front.
I mean, it's especially Twitter. It can be a time suck, and it's not real life. And if you get convinced that it is real life, then you will have a very terrible time.
You see a lot of du'at that get thrown off, like their calibration gets thrown off because
they start they're talking to you, addressing the comments.
Exactly. And they're too online. There's such a thing as being too online.
100%. Yes.
You lose your sense of what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
And that's something that I never wanted to happen to me. I wanted to be able to to be more in control of my interventions than that.
Yeah.